Hi listeners, Killobyte here giving you another disclaimer. We seem to be having some interference from a rival podcast set up by the Combaticons next to us at Swerve's bar. And that's why Onyx Mike is a little bit on the fritz. We would like to apologize for the inconvenience, but do hope you enjoy the episode. We will try to get this sorted out as soon as possible, but onwards with the show.
Commencing Operation Misinformation. Have you ever been given information stating the Decepticons are bad? Now think about who provided this information. Wake up, Sheepacrons. That's what the Autobots want you to think. Think about who runs the Senate, law enforcement. It's all propaganda. Earthlings, I urge you to do your own research. Find out the truth, for you are being deceived. Enough of me ranting. I know, you'd rather listen to me than this podcast, but unfortunately, I must continue the fight against our oppressors. It is a full-time job. Now then, let's tune into the show.
Hello and welcome to the podcast where we are currently recapping the events of Transformers IDW 2019 continuity. I'm Onyx Prime with my two wonderful co-hosts here.
Hi, I'm Killobyte.
And I'm Clickbait.
Moving on with our comic discussion for today's episode takes us to IDW Transformers Galaxy issues 7 through 12. And as always, spoiler warning. So if you haven't read them already, we highly recommend you go back, read them, then come and listen to the podcast. We have a goal to reach 500 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, because we'll be doing a brand new giveaway that we've never done before. So, tell your friends it's a good time. Now, onwards with the podcast. With that, Clickbait, do you mind giving us the fun facts and trivia about the comics we are discussing for today's episode?
Absolutely. Let's get started with some fast facts on this episode. Number of comics. We've got 6. Issue 7 was released on July 8th of 2020, with issue 12 being released December 30th of that same year. Our writers for these comics are going to be Sam Meggs and Brandon Easton, with our artists being Beth McGuire-Smith, Umi Meow, Andrew Griffith, with colors by Josh Burcham. Again, with the names every time. Our trivia for these episodes are going to be in issue 7, Gage and Accelerator are both referred to as curate, a real-world religious rank that differs from one branch of Christianity to the next. Its usage here, however, suggests something closest to the Catholic term of an assistant to a high-ranking parish priest. Similarly, here Tech is referred to as a plenary, an obscure Catholic term. In issue 8, RC uses a psychic patch on Gage, a device that originally appears in the Transformers Prime episode Sick Mind, and made several other appearances throughout the show. More recently, however, the device played a major role in the first season of the Cyberverse cartoon as a mechanism by which Bumblebee pieced together his scrambled memories, much like Gage does here. In issue 10, the alien battleship the Fist of Iacon shoots down is drawn to resemble a Mon Calamari Star Cruiser from Star Wars. This theme is continued in the next issue. You know, I'm really not sure at this point anymore. There's so many. The humans have gone crazy with the stars. Just get up there already. Quit messing around on Earth and they'll figure it out themselves. Anyways, this theme is continued in the next issue where the shuttle that Magnus takes down to the surface of Obsidar is drawn to resemble a miniature version of the Hammerhead Corvettes that appeared in Rogue One. And for the final issue, number 12, all the G1 references. Ultra Magnus attempts to contact Omega Supreme on frequency G1. Magnus describes Omega as one of the many city guardians, a reference to the episode War Dawn. Alphatron's holograms of the past include a glimpse of an ARC-class ship. Classic. Man,
Classic.
I'm losing my ability to speak.
What a mouthful.
It was a lot.
You're telling me?
I feel tired after you reading that.
I'm more tired after me reading it.
I'm envious of Killo's next job here with these summaries.
It's super hard.
Wow. If only I could be this lucky. I know why I do the trivia. Nobody else wants to read them.
Raised to accept the truth of the reversionist cause, Gage's wavering faith leads her to discover a secret that might overturn everything she thinks she knows. And as always, this information has been taken from the wiki. And again, a special shout out to our patrons, our supporters. Thank you so much for supporting us and helping
You
us
are awesome.
with these episodes.
We love you.
Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you so much.
Shall we get started?
Shall we get started?
Let's.
Continuing when we last left off with Gage, RC and Greenlight, except RC and Greenlight are nowhere to be found, and Gage seems to have lost parts of their memories and is fighting brainwashing of the reversionists. Any scenes that stand off to either of you as she goes through these routines?
I was so confused at the start of this. I was not sure how much time had passed, what has happened. At first, I thought maybe this is a flashback, but no, we're still here. But where's RC and Greenlight? And everybody raise a servo if you despise Tech. What a badly behaved bot. How dare he pick on little sweet Gage? That is so rude.
Okay, now put your servos away because that's inappropriate. Yes, no, Heretic, I think this is truly the first time we're getting to see more of him. We see he's in the IDW 2005 continuity for exactly one panel, and we hear about him later on being killed by the DJD. But this is he's a bad person.
A bad person.
is.
It's so rude.
I love the imagery, the white of the other bots, like they're already united in this and brainwashed. But meanwhile, Gage is blue and Accelerator is pinkish in color.
Right, they stand
And,
out.
Yeah, so they stand out. I love that imagery.
So eventually, Gage finds RC and Greenlight, who tell her she's being brainwashed into a cult, and RC was able to bring her memories back with the tool that is similar to a Brine cartoon. I
Yes.
don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
But the
vertical
reversionists
or
are
section.
up to something bigger, and it's up to Gage to find out. And what does she find out, and how? What does Heretic want Gage to do?
Brainwash the people of Cybertron.
Let's break down this cortical psychic patch really quick. So, like we said in our fast facts, we do see this pretty much first in Transformers Prime. And typically, up until this point, we've seen this used by a set of two bots, which is what its purpose pretty much is for, where you have one bot who's being subjected to the cortical psychic patch, or their memories are being searched through, and one who's doing the searching or the interrogation, whatever the purpose is for, depending on whether the bot is conscious, unconscious, information's being sought, etc. But I had not seen it done on just one bot before. I'm not sure if maybe that was a little bit unexpected, if RC maybe expected Gage to not grab both sides of the cortical psychic patch, which she probably shouldn't have, considering Gage knows nothing, which they established by when they said, "Oh, it's as we feared, her memory's been wiped." So I'm not really sure how the mechanics of that work, if they maybe overlooked it, or if it's something we don't know about the cortical psychic patch. I mean, it is primarily Decepticon technology. It's even now still kind of hard to get information on it. But it's really cool how now we're dealing with this brainwashing and this conditioning, and it's super fascinating because there's a lot of parallels to how we've seen some various human religions do this. And it's curious how the intents of the leaders can be so different than what the followers believe their intent truly is. And it really shows you the dangers of complacency, how humans are built very similar to Cybertronians. They're built to grow, to learn, to question everything, and you should be wary of anything that says otherwise, that says don't question, don't grow, just do what we tell you, as we tell you, when we tell you. It's 100%. So cool. I love that it's so full of like these kind of extra little messages where if you take a second to think about it, it's kind of giving you a little hint to think about something.
Fight the system.
Fight the system, which is very reminiscent of Megatron Origins, if you haven't read it. And when in the IDW 2005 continuity, when Optimus, or I guess he was Orion Pax, breaks into the Senate and preaches about questioning the system.
Yes.
Very much reflects that or echoes it in some way. But what is it that Heretic wants to do here?
I'll let Clickbait answer that one.
Massive reform. So we see him. He basically wants. He kind of wants the same thing that Megatron wants, or that Shockwave wants. He wants the population of Cybertron to have it his way or the highway. He wants to give Cybertronians a singular chance to convert to the reversionist cause or perish, or as he says, return to the eternal embrace of Christ, I believe he puts it. So we're seeing this kind of do it my way or die.
Yes.
That we're kind of seeing as a
No,
parallel
I like
here.
the highway metaphor because there's a lot of highways on Cybertron.
Let me get this correct.
And Earth,
The
too.
reversionists leave Cybertron because of the conflict that's going on there. And we find out this is within a week. They turn around and come back to Cybertron.
It makes no little sense.
Makes no sense.
Okay. So with their plan thwarted by Gage, RC, and Greenlight, Heretic is beaten, not killed, and the reversionists elected a new leader, Accelerator, which also not a... It's like the next bad guy. She was also bad.
I know.
And decided to lead Cybertron once again for the stars. Quote unquote, for real
Don't
this
worry, they'll be
time.
back.
I don't believe this for
They'll
a
be
second.
back.
During this arc, because Gage has a moment where she has a radio or amplifier or something, and I thought it was a good story arc, sure. It had a cliche of like, oh, both sides are wrong, but we should choose our own direction. One side was definitely
I
worse
thought it
in
was
this case.
cute. I liked
Sure.
the idea. I agree with you. But I liked the idea. But Gage doesn't know that. That's
Gage
why it works. That's why it's so cool.
knows
She
at
doesn't
least
really know.
One side is worse at the moment because she was literally a day old when she left, right? She left.
Right. But
She
they
only knew
mess
the
with her
Autobots at
mind,
that
so she
point, and then
doesn't think
the
she's a day old.
reversionist, right? The reversionist messed with her mind, right? So to her perspective,
yeah.
it would feel like she would definitely think the reversionists are the bad ones, right? From her perspective,
Yes and
she hasn't
no.
seen the Autobots do anything bad, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, in her mind, the reversionists are all she's known. She's, in her mind, had months, years, whatever, to be with them. So even understanding and knowing that she's been brainwashed, it's really hard to still get past those biases, just strictly from like a psychological standpoint. So even though she's seen the Autobots do nothing wrong, she's still more inclined to think well of the reversionists, or at least less badly than she would as an outsider like RC and Greenlight, just because to her, that's really all she's known. She has these memories of hers that don't actually exist, that are really only a week long, but that she thinks she's had for a very long time, right? She talks about in the beginning how this has been her whole life, and it insinuates that it's been years. She absolutely understands at a basic level that the reversionists are worse than the Autobots. She just is having, it's hard to flip that switch.
It is, and that's what was the whole mind link that I think it was Greenlight, right? It was Greenlight that helped her with that, or RC?
With the psychic patch?
It was RC, right? Get her memories back.
It was RC,
so
yeah.
She actually has a version of what really happened to her and what was fake. Sure, there might be some blurs because maybe she needs some more time to not be disoriented. It just, that portion was very, oh, but both sides are bad to me, which isn't, it is the reality of the situation, right? But not to her understanding beyond of what she's seen. I don't know.
But she kind of comes to terms with that in her own young way. And so I liked that, even though she was young, she was still able to make her own informed decision for what she understood to be the better cause. And I liked that.
Kilo, you've been quiet.
Yeah, it's been a hot discussion over there. So
we're having a formal debate.
I love it. I love it.
Great.
I'm always here to debate.
So I got confused a little bit towards when they attacked Cybertron because it looked like Cybertron was in the midst of the war or a battle of some kind, but then the reversion is also attacked, so like they're fighting. So I got a little bit confused there towards the end. I was like, were they fighting or were they not fighting? Like, because at the end they're like helping each other and they like heard Gage's speech. So I was a little bit kind of confused of when this takes place, of like compared to
imagine
what
the
we
poor
read
security
before,
forces.
Yeah, I know.
So,
they'd be so confused.
I'd be so confused.
yeah. So
if that's all, you want to move to the next set of comics?
Yeah, we can move on.
I think so. I don't really have any quick quotes for this. Most of it was actually Gage talking to herself.
Right.
I did have a theory at the beginning, and I thought it was like she was connected to a machine, and it was all in her head. So she
Mm,
wasn't brainwashed per se, but it was like
Ooh.
she was living in a simulation because the green
technically
light.
not wrong though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
but
technically not wrong.
it was more of a brainwash. It wasn't more of like they needed to awaken her. It was more of, they erased her
Right,
memories.
right.
But that was my explanation of why green light and RC weren't there at the beginning. I was like, oh, this seems like, definitely simulation kind of, because also Gage mentions that they're repeating every day was the same cycle, so it looks like kind of like a cycle of in a hologram or a virtual environment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Our next comics follow Ultra Magnus Chrome Dome on the search for Alpha Trion, beginning with some flashbacks of the war with Magnus and Megatron working side by side. Any scenes that stick out to either of you? Assuming, Kilo, you want to talk about Spinister.
Yeah.
I love Spinister.
Spinister's back. The beginning of it, when we get the little glimpse in the past, the memory of Magnus in the threefold Spark War, it, I like it, but it was also a little bit blurry. And I know that's kind of the art style, but it was kind of hard to focus on things. So I'm like, are
Right.
my optics aligned correctly? Because I can't really, like, it looks so blurry. It almost
Getting
felt like
old,
they needed
Kilo.
one of those Earthlings, like the half red, half blue glasses to make it look 3D. But it was a cool backstory, and I love Ultra Magnus's armor there. And then they changed it to the siege one. I'm like, oh no, it was so cool.
So, what are our thoughts on Octane and a few damaged Cybertronians from when the tether fell?
That's messed
That's
up.
rude.
That's messed up.
Why are you doing that? It's so rude.
He's
And
selling Cybertronian for parts. That's messed up.
I know, I don't like it.
And Spinister's
I
doing
like
the same
Spinister,
thing.
but I know,
Yeah,
how could he
yeah.
do this to me? I don't get
We're
it.
doing some
But I
bot
did love.
trafficking here.
I love
I know.
Spinister's character design. I don't
It's
condone what he's
great.
doing here. I loved
Yeah.
him in 2005 because he was the dumb himbo. But this one, I'll hopefully he'll come back and maybe I'll warm up to it. But he's definitely being a little bit too mean. But again, I haven't
jail.
seen much of Ministers. I haven't
Straight to jail.
straight to jail. Yeah, he is going to jail. But like, I feel like I haven't seen Spinister in anything other than the 2005 comics. So like, he hasn't had a lot of character development. I don't know if he was in G1 at all. I know he had a toy, but like, if this is a different version, I'm willing to kind of see where it goes if they even kind of come back to him.
Mhm.
But I liked his scythe helicopter propeller thing. It was kind of cool. But I do not
was
condone
really
his actions. He's been a
Yes.
bad boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
do
bot
not do
trafficking,
this.
please.
If we find this out, we will
Do
also
not.
send you to jail. Speaking on a lighter note,
Cybertron jail.
let's talk about Leo, I think, Convoy?
Wait! Don't forget Alpha Trion.
Victory Leo.
Yeah,
Victory Leo.
we'll get there. We'll get
We
there.
don't see
He's
him in
not
a
here
lot of
yet.
things.
No, we
He'll
do.
pop up.
Yeah, he appears more than most. But Victory Leo, I was so happy. I just got the Victory Saber, Leo, and the
I did
Victory
too.
Leo from the HasLab. I say recently, but it was last year, and I'm so happy to see them here. I love that the IDW writers bring the Japanese exclusive characters to the Western media. On Earth, and it's just amazing to see these characters kind of get the spotlight, and more fans will get to enjoy them and see them, and so I'm just so happy to see him here.
Yeah. So we'll get to what Clickbait's talking about. They find Alpha
Alpha Trion.
Trion, who has made some terrible partners. Example A, Sound Blaster, who wants what
Let's
he was
go!
owed from a bargain they made,
Yes.
which was what?
Energon for a ship. At the
I think it was
beginning.
parts.
Not just for
Parts
that,
for
it was
doing
knowledge
something.
for money, right?
Well,
Yeah.
there's the
I don't
depending
really.
on
They
the
kind of
bot, the
inferred
story
it.
changes.
Yeah, that story does
Yeah.
change. Alphatron is it tells us one thing and then we learn another thing. I don't know if Alphatron's telling the truth here, but
Yeah, but definitely Sound Blaster wanted
I think
money.
he's telling part of the truth.
right. But still
And
lying. if
who
it's part of the
takes
truth.
who makes a deal offering 75% of a cut with a nearly 0% chance of survival? Like I wouldn't
Sound
take those
Blaster
odds
does.
either. I
Sound
would
Blaster
not
does,
take
and I
those
love
odds
him
either.
for it.
I'm genuinely confused. Like
debate.
10 out of 10, like good
My
effort
turn to sit and be quiet.
delivery. Good effort on the delivery, but man, what kind of deal are you offering? No bot in their right mind is gonna take that bargain, and he holds no power. Where Spinister had the crew hostage, Sound Blaster pretty much has no power to even encourage taking a deal like that.
No, Sound Blaster only had Alpha Trion, and he was fighting Ultra Magnus. I don't think he was gonna make it out alive if he pushed it even more. But I loved seeing him here, so I'm happy.
Yeah, and I had some favorite scenes in this section as well. Backing up a touch, I loved the concept of galactic standard. You know, we kind of have our Ba Weep, Grana Weep, Neni Bong, our universal greeting. So I liked the concept of kind of, at least in brief messages that everybody needs to know, like we come in peace, you know, a galactic standard. I thought that was super cool. I also loved how realistic the concepts of war have been, even in Galaxies itself. We've got consequences, politics, collateral damage, and one of my favorite things that they've done so far is reinforce the loss of history and culture in battle, which brings me to one of my Clickbait's quick quotes, where it's Magnus and Trion, and Magnus is saying, "Culture is the first casualty of war. History is replaced by the conquering army." And Alpha Trion comes back and he says something about that being spoken like a warrior, like he would expect a soldier to think, but it begs the question, do the vanquished deserve to have their legacies replaced or erased? We see this even on Earth history and human history. The winning army, the winning force is the one who writes what happened. So it's super cool. I believe they're referencing some events that happened in Tarn quite some time ago. And so it was super cool how they are reinforcing all these super realistic consequences and concepts that happen maybe for human readers who haven't quite understood those concepts yet. I love it. It's great. Such a fun introduction. And then when Magnus finds Octane, I loved when he went, my status is fine. However, I've located an agitator. His status is about to go offline if he doesn't start answering some questions. That was great. I loved that. I love this Magnus. Like, yes, he's got a super strict honor code, but he is not afraid to throw down with words or fists. I'm here for it.
Definitely a different take from the previous continuity.
I love it.
It's like a mix of the previous continuity because he's serious, but then he also kind of cracks jokes, but then Chrondome is like, oh,
they're bad jokes?
They're bad jokes. The previous Magnus didn't really care for jokes. At least this one tries.
Yeah, I love it.
So in the end, we find out through time distortion from a black hole gravity well, says Ultra Magnus, and his crew have been gone for 70 cycles. But we get a scene where Sound Blaster was back on Cybertron 66 cycles earlier. How? Does he have a teleporting device? There's so many mysteries. What's going on?
Well, he went through the dark hole. It could have been a wormhole kind of thing, you know?
It could have been, or it could have had like some sort of other time adjustment, like you go deeper into it and the time speeds back up. I don't know, it's a black hole. You have different pockets of like mass and gravity, and you could theoretically correlate like the amount of
Shockwave needs to explain.
Yeah.
Shockwave does need to explain.
I'm sure he will. I do like that Shockwave design. He looks more bulky now compared to when we last saw him. He's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight Megatron. I don't think he's gonna let
Megatron do it again. You know what I mean? I think that's what he's prepping for.
I don't think so. But I don't think he's gonna face-to-face argue with Megatron again. I think he'll do it all behind his back in his typical Shockwave manner. But I do love how Magnus, when he's coming back.
Seeing Shockwave here, man, I really need to get a Seed Shockwave. I didn't get one, but I really need one.
Oh, it was really nice. I have that one and the Galaxy Waves.
Nice.
But I loved how when Magnus is coming back to Cybertron. Yes, I have other items.
We get a little teaser at the end with the Insecticons. So Shockwave managed to take them by using parts of other Cybertronians. So that's also a no-no.
That's gonna play really well here in a few minutes.
Yeah. And my final thing is, I like the Chrome design. It's a mix of the Titan's Return Chrome Dome toy, at least for the body, but then the head is the IDW 2005 head, which I kind of like the broad shoulders, and like I love the 2005 design for Chrome Dome, but I like this one too because he's a little bit more bulky, but he also has like more plating and it's a little bit more three-dimensional. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I like how this one looks as well.
I think he's cute. But yeah, I loved how when they're coming back to Cybertron and Magnus is trying to get caught up on what's happening, he has all these messages come to his inbox. He's like, "Oh no, this is Megatron. Yeah, I know he's cool. Wait a second, what is he doing? Oh no, oh no!" And I love how they're reinforcing again how much Megatron has changed from these people who knew him. We've seen it with Orion, we've seen it with Wheeljack, we've seen it with Termagax, we've seen it with now Magnus too. And if we back up just a little bit more, times two, because like 2 points that are backed up a little bit. One of my clickbait quick quotes is when Magnus is trying to get Alpha Trion out of Sound Blaster's control. He chucks a grenade at Sound Blaster, and Sound Blaster goes, "Are you insane? That grenade will kill us both." And Magnus, I can just imagine how smug he was about this moment when he's like, "Yeah, it would. If it were anything but a flashbang." And then, they're gone, and I love that. That was great. I was like, "Oh man,
Know Your
Magnus,
Grenades by
that was
Clickbait.
wonderful." Yes, I love it. Wonderful. And then another fun fact to note is on page 265, if you're following along in the volume of this, old Altrion pulls up an image of what appears to be the Ark. And on it, there's some kind of text that's kind of wrapping around the image, and you can't read all of it. Some of it goes out of frame. But what you can read says, "The seeds of the I buried in the," and then it says what I assume is the past because it starts with a P. But I love that they're incorporating our Cybertronian language into this. It's so great. It's always fun to see your language represented in human media or just media in general. So I think that's my last point, is I love when they're able to incorporate it accurately and not just make it gibberish like they did in certain other shows that we're not talking about right now. But I loved it. It was great. And then Magnus's little armor change again was super fun. Definitely got an upgrade in the looks and fashion department. So
It was fun.
Yeah, poor Sound Blaster. He done messed up.
Poor Sound Blaster.
Poor Sound Blaster.
Shockwave was like, "Hey, I still have a use for you, so it's fine."
Probably gonna feed him to the Insecticons.
I don't know. We'll see, because I think they're gonna address at one point. Shockwave is gonna get mad or something. It'll be like, "You're a clone" or something. So I'm interested to see if he's actually a clone or if he's his own kind of character. So I'm more interested in that than seeing if he's gonna survive or not.
They left it a mystery, didn't they?
They did. He mentions like, "Hey, I have you here," but he never specifies like, "Oh, I created you" or anything like that. We just see Sound Blaster kind of be like, "Oh, forgive me, my master." So you can kind of assume it could be a possibility.
Are we ready for Rod Stars?
We are.
I think so.
Killobyte, lead us the way.
Somehow I knew you were going to call me first. Why don't you go first this time?
I'll go first next time. No, it hasn't.
It's been a while.
I'm pretty sure it has been.
Recording.
No, I don't think you did.
The one before that. Yeah, the one before that.
Yeah, but there's been one before this one.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Kilo.
No. The editor would know.
Yes.
Editor, no.
No. This is a majority. This is a majority.
The editor. Right. I am the editor. What do you mean?
All right, fine. I'll remember this. Goodbye, Mantix. Rod Star rating.
Hang on a second.
I'm going to give this 4 Rod Stars, I think. It's pretty good. What? I really enjoy the Ultra Magnus arc. I enjoy the Gage's arc. Although there's some things I think could use a little bit more work. I think, in my opinion, I think there should be a little bit more explaining. Maybe the Autobots can also be bad to kind of explain more Gage's feelings towards the thing. I enjoy Ultra Magnus's interactions with everybody. I would like to see more Spinister and their deal going on. Like a little bit more showing rather than telling of what they do. Even though what they do is awful. But that's where I am for.
First of all, how dare you?
You sound very far away.
That's okay. It's Killobyte's turn now.
Excuse you. Don't get to just say that and then just move on with your life like you didn't just say something terrible. That's rude. How dare you? You better watch out when it comes to my one-shot, buddy. Listeners, keep an eye on this one, okay? I don't trust him. Proceed with caution. Now you can go ahead, Killobyte. I'll be temporarily silent.
For my rating, this will probably be a 4.5. I know I've given 5 before. It's good. I really enjoyed it. I had fun with the Ultra Magnus one. The Gauge one, well, it was fun, but I was hoping for more. It kind of ended. It ended happy. We're like, hey, I get to decide, and I'm happy with RC and Greenlight. And I'm like, well, not for long because the war is coming. So, this is definitely gonna go south soon. So it was kind of, and it also was kind of hard to tell if it was happening after Megatron took control because there's kind of you when they arrive, there's fire in some buildings. So I kind of was lost a little bit on when that was taking place. But other than that, 4.5, they were fun read.
Clickbait.
I I got it. I got it, sir. Thank you very much. Oh, man. You get in a debate with one person, and all of a sudden they think they can just talk whenever they want.
I'm gonna go get a
Anyways.
drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you do that. Anyways, I really enjoyed this arc. Maybe not as much as where we've been before with these characters and with these comics in the past. I had a blast with all the different concepts, but I felt like it kind of would touch on one and start to get into it and then switch to another one. And then they would start on one and they would kind of dig into a concept and then switch to another one. So I liked where it went. I wish it would have committed a little bit more to where it was going, maybe made the issues a little bit longer thing. So even though it had a good foundation, I think it could have done better, especially in the character development part, especially when we're seeing such a heavy level of character development in the main body of this comic series. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was great. I still loved it. It's still a wonderful story. It just isn't quite where our other issues have been. So that's my reading.
Cool. Well, listeners, if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can send us an email at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. That is SWERVESBAR podcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Any toys? Any new toys?
I got the Bumblebee Jazz figure, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Jazz figure.
The Origin Jazz?
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Origin Jazz,
Nice.
yeah. It's really cute. He's cute. I like him a lot. He's a lot of fun. He's so clean. He's got nice little body and nice little transformation, a nice little car. I love it.
I like the bot mode for that figure. Not the car mode is bad, but like the bot mode definitely looks very clean and that like doesn't have a lot of kibble. And it's great.
It's very sleek.
I think it looks very good. Yeah. I don't have any new toys. It's been a while, but once I get something new, I'll let you know, listeners.
I need more shelf space. That's what I need.
Next up, listeners, go ahead and email us with suggestions of what Killobyte should get next. We got to keep him going. Gotta keep him rolling, okay?
I have some pre-orders, but I there's not my stores online where I get all the shipments shipped to Cybertron are not stocking up the toys that I need, so it's been hard getting them.
You gotta pay for the intergalactic shipping, man. You gotta get it here.
Oh,
It's
so
that intergalactic premium tier.
So expensive.
Well, we'll have to go talk to Swerve about the cut again because this is ridiculous.
I think last time we tried to negotiate for 5%, we somehow ended up with less than what we were getting before.
That's because I wasn't there.
Maybe you can help us.
Probably can.
Okay. Are you two ready for Transformers Volume 4, issues 25 to 30?
I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Clickbait, do you mind taking us out?
Absolutely. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing. If you want to help out the show even further, we have started a Patreon as well as opening a Redbubble page where you can get all sorts of fun merch based around our podcast. We have t-shirts, stickers. You can even buy your little furry four-legged pets. What are they called? Dogs? I think they're dogs. You can buy them bandanas. They're so cute. Wombats. What about a koala? Is that it?
I've definitely seen a human with a pet shark.
A pet shark?
Probably. You know, humans will pet anything they can get their grubby little hands on. It's fascinating. I would not go near half of the stuff that humans try to pet. It's ridiculous. Anyways, all the proceeds will go to supporting the show and keeping the lights on. Of course, we do have some tiers that offer other forms of gratitude, such as 3D files and entry to our Discord channel, where you can see the chaos firsthand. even get early access to our comic reviews a week before their public release. We also have a goal to reach 500 subscribers, and at which point we'll be holding a brand new kind of giveaway that we've never done before. So go ahead and click that subscribe button and tell your friends it's a good time, because we all know it is. And as always, we hope you're staying safe out there. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Till our one.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Swerve Podcast, and even on Tumblr. Yes, with everything going on Twitter, we figured we should cover our bases. Speaking of which, you can also find us on Twitter at Swerve if that's still a thing. If you're interested in more content, try checking out our spin-off D&D series, Transform and Roll Out. Season 3, titled Eons, is now available. Let's tune in to a preview now.
Go ahead and roll
Excellent.
damage. I just want to say I really enjoy that your mic picks up your hands rubbing together.
I've been caught. Finally, old lady's gonna throw some punches. Grandma, please. Domina.
You had a big ship?
Big, beautiful ship. That's why I called her.
What was her name?
Big, beautiful ship.
Oh, I'm sorry for I got confused.
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
I feel that
Okay.
every day at my job. Every day.
Is the elevator even safe?
Probably not. Then a noise starts to come out of the vent.
Excuse you.
Louder
Hang on.
and
No,
closer.
I don't, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, that was certainly something. There is also a YouTube channel with bonus content, such as video games containing funny comments and trendy shorts. A link will be provided below. And if you're so inclined, you can support us on Patreon, where you can get even more bonus content, such as reading files, access to their Discord, and listen to the content before it's released to the public. More links will be provided below. End transmission.